All right. This is my first time ever live streaming, so I just got this set up working. You got to
Me
tell me if the
too.
TV is annoying or is in your way or anything.
Everything looks great.
Okay.
Mhm.
I will say that I've been having internet issues all day, so if I happen to drop off, just give me a second. I'll just switch to a different router and somebody just like take over talking or something, because it's
I
been
got
a
you.
mess today. Thank you. We are live. Welcome to What Did I Just Watch section of the Candy Corn Conga Line. And with us tonight, the lady who started it all. This is Miss Ethel Cross from 13 Originals, and she is responsible for putting all this together, this Candy Corn Conga Line, and she has an awesome channel. Also joining us is Nye from B Movie Badness, and she has a beautiful channel where she talks, as you can see from her background, all the lovely movies that she talks about, and she has a great personality. I really love listening to her. And also joining us is Mark from Laser Cloud Records, which, if you don't know, all the music on my channel is done by Mark from Laser Cloud Records. From my intro, my background music that I talk over, and my outro music are all from Laser Cloud Records.
Oh, nice.
All fun stuff.
And side note, Mark is my cousin, so that's even extra cool.
Bonus.
And I'm gonna just take a moment to say hello to the commenters. Mr. Dan in Horror, hello again. I was on with him earlier today on a live stream on Let's Chop It Up with Prim. And Mr. Dan in Horror was there. His channel is also doing really well. And Jen's Reviews from the Grave is here. Her channel is awesome. She does great reviews with her son, who she refers to as the boy, but his name is Christian, and he's also pretty cool. By the way, Jen, if you check your Twitter messages, there's an invite. So if you feel up to it, you can join us on this live stream. Nightwatch Zone is here. Hey, Night. His channel's also well. And I didn't mean to skip over Tony T. Hello, Tony T. Happy Halloween. And hello, Kubrick Lover 1972.
Yay, Brian.
This is great. How do I want to start this? I had made the theme Slumber Party Horror. Sorry if I'm saying a lot. I'm really nervous today, and I don't know why. I just want everything to go very well. But the theme of Slumber Party Horror is basically horror movies that you fell in love with around middle school age. And these are typically movies that aren't super, super scary. They're just, your first movies that you could watch alone by yourself and feel like you're a big kid. And for me, those movies were like Witchboard, Mirror Mirror, Warlock. These are movies that they're not too scary, but I enjoyed them at that age. Do you guys have movies that you feel that way about? We'll start with Ethel and then go around in a circle. So like Nye and then Mark.
All right. Yeah. There's all sorts of movies. I don't know about not super scary, but I want to say Event Horizon. But I think I might have been almost in high school by then. But that's one that I really got into watching. And I started getting into watching the Halloween franchise more then too. Which was pretty cool.
Horizon scared me so much when I was in high school. Like that movie, I think I might have turned it off the first time I tried to watch it because I got so creeped out.
Very scary. Very scary movie.
Sam Neill was great in that, and it's just like the whole psychoticness of it was it was crazy because it's like he's pulling out his own eyes. There's hallucinations. They're on this ship, and the ship's almost like some weird twisted Gothic cathedral, and it looks like it's going to cut you everywhere you step.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
that
have
movie
one,
was
Nye?
so scary.
Yeah, I have one. Middle school, I snuck around and watched movies I shouldn't have been watching. So I was watching like Dr. Giggles. And I was
I
like in
remember that
sixth grade. Yeah.
I have to say, for me, I had a couple. Pet Cemetery was super scary.
Oh, yes.
The original one. And it wasn't even them coming back. Actually, it's when the little kid actually died. That was scarier for me at that time in my age. Like, oh my God, you could just wander off, and get in trouble. That one was really scary. I agree with Event Horizon. horror in space is terrific. I love that type of genre. I had never seen anything like that before, so that's just really cool. Another movie that kind of has those vibes is Sunshine. If you guys have seen that one, it's another space horror movie where it actually starts out just like a space movie, but then they throw the horror and the stalking and the killing in later. That's a more of a newer 2000s movie, but yeah, Event Horizon was awesome, and Hellraiser, that series was super scary to me. I was just like, these guys are out there and they're coming, you know. And when you're young, you know, you feel like these guys could be on your block, you know, and you're wondering, you know, if your parents are looking out for them. So those were the ones for me.
Oh, definitely. And still scary. Someone earlier, oh, I can't remember who it was. Someone was reviewing Pet Sematary and they put Zelda as the thumbnail. And I was just like, oh, God. Why did you have to do that?
It's just a wacky movie. Very, very scary movie. When you're young, when you're older, it's just not the same, you know. But at
I'm
that
still
age,
creeped out by Zelda. But yeah, the rest of the movie is not as scary. We have a couple more people joining the chat. Mufume Dome is here. Happy Halloween to you. Curly Girl at the Movies, another great channel to check out. Especially love when she does
Really?
yes, she does movie reviews where she's when she is doing her twist out takedown, or sometimes she'll be detangling her hair, and it's almost like visual ASMR to watch her do her hair as she talks about these movies. And the way she talks about movies, it feels like you're just in her room and you're her friend and she's just talking to you about movies.
That's cool.
Definitely.
I'm looking at, I got distracted by your TV, Mark. It looks like it's changing. No. I think it was changing. I saw the twins dancing and changed to the skull.
Well,
actually,
I released 3 very short kind of mini music videos the last 2 days. You guys can check them out at Laser Clouds on Instagram or Laser Cloud Records on YouTube. And so I just have it on loop. But let me know if it's too bright or distracting. I can just turn it off. You know?
No, you know I have ADHD. I get distracted by anything shiny. Like that's just been my life.
Well, we set up in this room. I didn't know how the lighting would be, and yeah, it takes a lot to get the proper setup. I see you guys have really, you know, thought up your arrangements, your angles, and everything. But for me, this is my first time, so.
I still don't have my lighting right. You see, I just turn stuff on and hope that it looks okay. And also with this computer, like right now, it looks fine. But sometimes when I live stream, it makes me look like super jaundice and yellow. And it's only on the computer camera. When I'm using my regular camera to film my videos, it seems fine. But I mean, it's, you know, it's just a little laptop, so I make it do what it does.
Yeah. Every different camera is different. It's crazy.
What posters do you have in the background? Can you talk to us about those? They look really cool.
Like this one is like one of my favorite movies, Phenomena, by directed by Dario Argento. I think up here you can't really see it, but that's Demon Knight. Have you seen Demon Knight, anyone?
Yes, I saw it at the movie theater.
Yeah. This one is that's my favorite one. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, it's classic.
Yeah. And some of the other ones you can't really see. I have Sin City up there, The Stuff, Pulp Fiction, Frankenweenie, like all around.
Very, very cool. Before we went live, Ethel was showing us the pumpkins that she carved. Could you show that to everybody too? Because they look really, really cool.
Oh yeah, these are those carvable pumpkins. So like they're never gonna rot on me. And like I got a skull, and I got beware. Gotta beware.
Very, very cool.
You said they're never gonna rot. Did you do something to them?
No, they're foam. They're styrofoam.
Oh, they're made out of foam. Oh, cool.
Yeah, you just carve them like a regular pumpkin, and then they last forever.
Oh, that's very cool.
And
we actually carved a couple ourselves tonight. My 2-year-old was running around in the streets like crazy with my wife. and we carved a couple.
Oh, you should
and,
have.
you know,
You should have seen a picture of the baby. He was dressed like
yeah.
Chucky. It was so oh yeah. And he has naturally red hair, so like it really, really, really looks cool.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun tonight. I think he's had too much candy already, so he's running around like a wild man. That's for sure.
And I see some Funko Pops behind you. Do you have any favorites?
I guess I like the Star Wars ones. Actually, it's weird because I'm not a huge Star Wars fan myself, but I like the Funkos that have come out from there. So those have been pretty cool. My wife as well collects a whole ton of them. So mostly horror ones too. We have Freddy, Jason, all the kind of the horror staples of the genre. But it's funny because we both just love collecting them separately, and then we got together, and that's when things got to be problematic because we're always getting them and looking for new ones. And we actually got a couple commissioned to look like us for our wedding day. So we had Etsy. Somebody made a couple Funko for us. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, we're a big fan. And they're so easy to collect. That's the thing. They're so small. The heads are nice and big. Just the style of it makes it. It says, "Why don't you buy 20 more?" So we have a lot of them, and not for any particular reason.
I'm going to jump to the comments again. Mr. Dan and Horror says, "I watched The House Where Evil Dwells when I slept over my friend's house. People possessed by samurai ghosts, crab attacks, and nudity. We loved it." Curly Girl movie says, "Phenomena." Oh, I should be putting these on the screen. I'm so sorry. There we go. And she also says, "I just love nice posters." Also, if you watch Curly Girl the movie, she has Funko Pops in her background too. And she has the really cool ones that are from Us. She's got the family from Us.
Oh yeah, we've got that family over here. Right here on this side. It's kind of out of the shop. We got the 4-pack right here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. That movie is fantastic. I like that movie a lot. I like it more than Get Out. I know a lot of people Get Out for them is the thing, but for me, that was so much more totally implausible and strange. I really enjoyed that movie. It's really an odd story, you know.
I had a nightmare about that movie because I'm very freaked out by the idea of doppelgangers. And in my dream, my doppelganger was fighting me, and her hair was all wild. She was in a hospital gown, which is like personal to me because I've been hospitalized before, and so to see myself like that, it was like really, really jarring. Rideshare and Delivery LLC, how are you today? He says, "Has anyone ever seen Dead Dudes in the House, aka House of Tombstone Hill? It's about an old lady killing people in a haunted house, only for them to return as zombies."
I've been wanting to see that movie, but it's hard to find. That's on my list to see.
It sounds hilarious.
Kubrick Lover 1972 says, "Lady Shaw, are you dressed as the woman from the Japanese film Audition?" Yes, I am. So I was getting my gloves ready. And there's the bag over there in the corner. This is Audition for anybody that doesn't it's unfamiliar with that movie. Yeah, that's Asami. And she's very, very scary. I have to use a stylus on my computer because on a touch screen because these gloves. Rideshare says, "I'm sorry, House on Tombstone Hill would be the alternate name." False Proxy Session says, "Wow, we got the production team as well in the house. Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween, everyone."
Oh, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Curly Girl, the movie says, "Us is definitely better than Get Out."
Yeah, I would have to agree. Stylistically, that's great, you know? Just the colors.
Trash Picture Show is here, and he's coming to us all the way from, I believe he is in Ireland. And he says, "That's a kick-arse costume, Lady Shasha. Thank you very much." I think I hear kids yelling outside. What is I hope they're not TPing anyone's house. Audition is a hard watch. Yes. The first time. And hey, internet, it's Eric here. All these people that are commenting also have channels, by the way, if I didn't mention that. False Proxy Sessions has a channel. Curly Wrote the Movies, Trash Picture Show. And I'm not sure about Kubrick Lover 1972. Let me know. But hey, internet, Eric here also has a channel. He says, every horror fan tells me to watch Audition, but that's a no for me. I can watch almost anything but needle kills. Well, she doesn't technically kill him with the needle. She just numbs him with the needle before she saws off his parts.
Oh, man.
I'm watching all the horror films that take place on Halloween Day.
Oh,
I should have hairsprayed this wig. Which, by the way, I'm trying to make it work because I ordered it. It's supposed to be a lace front wig, but it's not. It came as a regular wig, so I tried to make it work because I didn't want to damage my hair by flat ironing it because I've done so well with keeping my hair healthy. I didn't want to put heat on it and ruin the whole thing. Okay. Kubrick Lover says, I have content on my channel. That's what you were asking, right? Yes. That's what I was asking. So yeah, check out Kubrick Lover 1972 as well.
yeah, he was actually on earlier yesterday. He was part of the conga line. He had a whole thing where he's got his own original music, shredding the guitar and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, when you put it that way, we'll see. I get creeped out by hair kills, like in Sick Nurses. Yeah, I recently reviewed maybe 2 months ago a few hair movies. When Bad Hair came out on, I think it was on Hulu, I reviewed it with a Japanese film, I think it was called XT Hair Extensions, and a Korean film called The Wig.
Oh.
And I think there's another one called Scary Hair, but I'm not sure whether I got to see that one or not. That's like a whole subgenre of like hair movies or something to do with, possessed hair, I guess, or possessed wigs, everything, which kind of makes sense if you're dealing with real hair, or real human hair, because what if the human whose hair you have on suddenly not suddenly, I should say, has a negative backstory, like the hair was gotten in a negative way and then it carries with it like
plot.
Yeah.
Possessed hair.
Did you say possessed hair, Ethel?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a movie on Hulu called Bad Hair. I saw that last year. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. I compared it to that director.
Okay, I couldn't hear. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That director said that he was inspired by the Asian hair movies and that he was trying to make like an American version of those type of movies.
Yeah.
I want to see how long this silence lasts. I just stopped talking just to see what would happen. And I forgot my candy dish. I could talk about what's in my Halloween corner since I ran out of juice. Let's see what we have here. The Chucky doll that I have never unboxed. I'm thinking about doing an unboxing video. He does talk, and I heard that if you flip a switch in the back, that he switches from the "I'm your friend to the end, Heidi Ho" into talking like Charles Lee Ray, which would be really cool. Annabelle. She's over here looking like how she always looks. In the background, I have some stuff that I actually made, but I didn't finish. This is one of those, I call them murder balls from Phantasm. I took like a Christmas ornament, like those clear Christmas ornaments, and you just spray paint on the inside silver, and then I just added the little, they're not metal, but they look metallic little things there. And then this took me so long that I did not finish it. It took me so long to carve.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love
I
that
didn't-
it's carved and it's not just like stickers put on or stenciled,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
What is
these
it
two
made out
sides are not done yet because I I literally just gave up. I was like, I'm tired. I'm not gonna do anymore.
Oh man, when you finish that, I'm gonna do. I should do a pinhead design for you. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, that would be
That's
awesome.
awesome. Well, I wanted
This
to
is
add him
old.
to that series, with the rest of the characters that were in
Mhm.
your intro scene.
hmm This is like really old. This was the first. I think it's the first DVD. I don't want to call it a box, but like cover that Evil Dead came in when it had the special editions. There've been like 3 or 4 different ones since this one that are probably nicer looking, but this one you can see that's starting to come apart with the foam. But I kept that. Oh, also the Babadook. That's another
cool.
one that I couldn't afford to buy the real one, so this is just a box from Michael's, and I did a screen print of the Babadook on it.
Oh, that's neat.
Cool.
You're able to print right on the box.
No, this is a fabric, and then I attach the fabric on top of the box.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wow. That is neat.
And this is a gift that my sister gave me for Christmas, which is Pazuzu from The Exorcist.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Put those back.
Yeah,
And-
Sasha, I actually showed you. I showed you earlier that when I was designing that Ghost King graphics, that I basically ordered this, and it was delayed because of a China some type of issue with the shipping. But it's actually a foam skull with plastic spikes on it. It kind of gives it let me see what I'm doing here. Kind of gives it kind of like a fashion type of appeal to it. And then I photographed it and then animated it to kind of make it like a little guy.
It's on screen behind you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to have him animated riding in a car on like a lo-fi loop for a couple more projects coming up in like 2 months. So I'm gonna
that
keep
is
working
really
with
cool.
Go.
When I first saw that, I thought that you had used stock, like a stock photography. That's how cool it looked. I didn't know that you had actually set it up and recorded everything yourself. That's really cool.
I try to start with at least something that's not reproducible in the sense of from another source, and then try to make it my own. I do use a lot of stock stuff that I bring in, samples of music and art and stuff. But as long as I can bend it into my own vision, then I feel like I can make a collage attempt at making something new. So that's what I try to do with all my stuff.
Very, very cool. What's the last horror movie each of you have seen? Like that's recent.
Well, I watched Halloween Kills just the other day. And Sasha, you were like, "Oh, you got to watch it." And I got it. When you gave me the spin on it, I kind of appreciated it more. I really didn't like it until I realized that it's very campy. And it knows that it's campy. So when I realized that, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than initially. I was kind of like, these people are so stupid. They seem like they want to be killed, and they're really going about things the wrong way, like people do in horror movies, and they were the worst. But then when you realize that they really want you to hate them, and this is kind of a movie in between the movies that matter, really, like the first one and the third one will probably be the big showdown. I think your perspective on it made me enjoy it more, that's what I'd say.
And I think people were more used to a toned down Michael, because in his earlier years, like those first 2 movies in 78 or 79, I forget, and in 1981, I guess he was pretty brutal. But then the censors, or I should say the Motion Picture Association, got really, really strict in the late 80s, early 90s, and it kind of toned down. Because I remember in the second one, he put his thumb through somebody's forehead, and he but everything got really toned. The second one, and so he got toned down like 4 through. Yeah, 4 through 6, he's really, really toned down. And then I'm trying to even remember the kills from H2O and Resurrection. So he's actually kind of going back to the way he used to be, which was super brutal.
Yeah. The first movie, it's unbelievable. It's like you don't even know what's going on from the start, and that's what's so scary about it.
Yes,
that's why it's such a classic, you know.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about that and you are a music person, how you felt about the musical score, because that's one of the most iconic musical scores in a horror film.
Yeah, I would say that overall, the newest one didn't get me as much as the previous one, the 2018 one. I thought they kind of deployed it better. I felt like this one, they kind of just ran it at odd times when they didn't know when, or they didn't have something particularly going on. They would kind of drop the iconic, parts. I liked how they did in the 2018 one a lot more than Halloween Kills. I thought the Halloween Kills music for me was not as memorable than the previous movie. It just seemed quiet in general. But
it's my understanding John Carpenter came back to do the music with, I think he worked with his son on the music for, I'm not sure 2018, but he definitely did for Halloween Kills.
Okay.
Did anybody see Malignant?
The first one was, the first one, the 2018 one I did like. I thought that they had more punch up there, but I think I just like the overall movie better, just in terms of story, him getting out and kind of, I guess I was more sucked into the reboot in terms of seeing where it was going to go. And, the second one to me was fun, but it wasn't as serious. And I kind of like my horror movies serious, where I can be seriously scared, like the first It movie, for instance. I found not the original It, but the reboot. I love that movie. I thought it was terrific. Yet when they're grown up in the part 2, there's no fear there. There's no scares there because they're grown-ups and they're not like, as vulnerable, So I like it serious. I like the horror scary and serious, When it gets too funny or too campy, then I'm like, well, I don't know how much I'm invested in it,
It's hard to do campy well, and it's hard to do horror comedy well. That's why there's so few horror comedies that really, really work. And off the top of my head, the only one I can think of that work super well is American Werewolf in London, Return of the Living Dead, maybe Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Evil Dead.
But it's Evil Dead 2, because the first Evil Dead I think was straight horror, and then the second Evil Dead was a little bit more comical.
Evil Dead 2 is crazy. Is silly. Yeah.
I also enjoy movies that are comical, but they're unintentionally funny. Like Wish Upon. I laughed so much during that movie. It was completely unintentional. And the Bye Bye Man.
Oh, Bye Bye Man. Oh God. That's bad. That movie is so bad. That is the worst. I wanted to go bye-bye within the first 5 minutes of that movie. Oh, that is just a terrible movie. I mean, it's one of those movies where you literally are like, let me get on my phone. I think I've got to cut my nails. I mean, like, do something else, It was terrible. It was terrible. But I did watch it, and I regret it.
Did I neglect to mention, speaking of watching movies, that Ethel does movie watch-alongs on her channel?
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's just recently we we did a watch along of Frankenstein 80. I don't know if any of you have seen that.
I've seen that.
It's so bad, but it's got lots of neat moments, and like it's an Italian horror film of the 70s, so it's got a lot of boobs. You gotta expect that. It's Italians, they love the tata. I don't know, but it was funny because it's like we're watching it, and there's this moment where like the scientist is operating on Mosaic, the Frankenstein monster, and like you think he's gonna put it in his liver or whatever, and I'm watching him like, well, he's cutting really low, like it's almost in his crotch. Then he brings his jar over, and there's this round thing floating. He ends up doing a testicle transplant, and he gives him a third testicle, which is always an interesting.
Okay, you just sold me on this movie. I wasn't sure at first. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting.
Man, that's crazy.
At one point, they pad out the film, and like randomly, you're at a Formula One racetrack, and there's Formula One cars racing around, and it's like, what is Mosaic driving one of these cars? Is he going to take the checkered flag? What's going on here?
And I do like Italian movies because they're so over the top. Like they really go for it, especially with the gore. And you know, I'm a gore hound. Yeah, Suspiria is nice, but I like I was the other day watching the New York Ripper. I like that. I mean, this is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I do love Suspiria. I love color. And that's one of the reasons I love colors, because of Suspiria, and Argento is great. But Fulci, we talk about Fulci and Bava. Bava for Demons alone. Demons, oh my God. That's the one cosplay I didn't get to do this year that I wanted to do. I wanted to do Rosemary, but I have to make the wig with the braids and the beads in it, because you can't buy that. But yeah, if you have not seen Demons, or it might be listed as Demoni, it takes place in a movie theater, and it's so good. And the score is really good too. I think, Mark, you will enjoy the music.
Is it from the 70s?
It's from the 80s, actually. It's from.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
So much gore in Demone. Like I just watched that not that long ago with my friend John Steele and Trenchy over on his channel. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. Marion Hope says, oh, I almost forgot. I need to put these on the screen. I need to give, as you can see, I'm not used to live streaming, so that's why I'm a little janky at it. I do it once. When I do it once a week, I'm not the person that's like handling stuff. Like when I'm on Hood Podcast, it's usually Jay that kind of drives the conversation, and I can follow his lead. So me being in charge is like a dumpster fire, but I'm trying. Marion Hope says, just finished watching Halloween 2 for the first time in like forever.
Oh.
Mr. Dan and Har says she even did Manos. I think he's referring to Ethel, that she did Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yes, Manos, the Hands of Fate, friggin' Torgo, and a lot of people don't realize or don't know that the fellow who played Torgo, he was on LSD the whole time they were filming, so that's why he's got such a crazy face. Like, the little girl in the film who plays Debbie. She always recalled him being really happy, and like he just seemed like he was in a great mood. And she says, looking back, she's like, "Oh well, now I know he was on LSD. It all makes so much sense."
Wow.
I don't know how you do anything in LSD. That's just funny.
CML Entertainment says, happy Halloween, everyone. He also has a horror channel, and he does some great reviews, and he has a infectious laugh. When he laughs, it makes you want to laugh with him. False Proxy says Tucker and Dale versus Evil, LOL, was the last horror comedy I really liked. Marion Hope says, how do you get, oops, I skipped one. Tony T says Demons is the best. Come on, why is it? There we go. Demons was crazy. Krilly Girl says. I think Jamie Lee was on something. Oh, it's a possibility. I don't know. It was, it was the 80s. I was going to say it was the 70s. And in the 70s, people were doing all kinds of stuff. But in the 80s, they kind of were too. Tony T says, you can see the difference of filmmaking from Lamberto Bava, who directed Demons, and his father, Mario Bava, who inspired many horror directors. Yeah, I like Lamberto's movies better than Mario's movies.
Really?
No, what were you going to say? Feel free to disagree with me. I'm not the type of person that feels like everyone has to agree with me at all. Especially if you see me and Crystal go back and forth with movies. So we're like Siskel and Ebert.
I've seen one of Umberto's movies called Dinner with the Vampire, and I laughed so hard at that movie. It was so stupid to me. It was just ridiculous. I'm like, he's nothing like his dad.
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of hard to be compared to your father and all, but that movie
Mm-hmm.
was just. I didn't want to see any more movies from him. Oh my god.
The Trash Picture Show says maybe the LSD was in Jamie's wig in 2. In Jamie's wig. Wait, Jamie's from part 4 and 5. I'm not understanding your comment, Marty. You got to rephrase it. The new Paranormal Activity was bad. I wish I never watched. Oh, the CML I saw from the trailer. I was like, this is gonna be like trash garbage. I was like, I'm not paying to see that. I think it's on like Paramount TV. I don't have Paramount TV, so I'm like,
yeah. You know, the first one was good, and you know they should have left it there. They can't leave anything alone these days. They just got to put it in the recycler and make 50 of them until it's dead. I mean, even The Conjuring. Honestly, I love the first one. I wish they stopped. They were like, we need to make a universe. Like, a universe of what? I mean, there's nothing in that universe of any interest, you know, and they're stretching it as thin as they can, you know. So it's sad when you see good stuff get diluted like that, you know. I
like the first 2 Conjuring movies. That's what you know, I love Annabelle, but I love Annabelle when she was in the rocking chair with the witch Bathsheba holding her. The Annabelle movies. What a wasted opportunity. The only one that I feel rewatchable to me is the second one. The second one, I think they did the best with.
The Origin of Evil is a solid movie.
Yeah. And The Nun, another wasted opportunity. She was super creepy, but then they kind of dropped the ball with their movie. As far as Paranormal Activity, the reason why they wanted I'm sorry.
I was saying it's about power levels. That's the problem with The Nun. When you have a character, you have to establish like laws and rules for how and what they can do. The Nun can just do whatever. So then people are like, why am I watching this movie? And why is the Nun yelling at everybody and running at everybody when it has the power to like just destroy people, you know? So when you don't have a power level that's got rules that people understand, then you're like, what's going on with this? And you can just do me, then do away with me and be done. You know, there shouldn't be a movie like this. So yeah, The Nun was bad. That was like the worst James Wan movie I've seen, honestly. It was.
I don't think he didn't direct it, I don't think. I think he just produced it. I think he was just the producer. I think he had a different director. With Paranormal Activity, that's a money grab thing because the first one, I want to say that it cost $50,000 to produce. So, like, when you make a movie for $50,000 and you make millions and millions on it, they're gonna try to replicate that model over and over again because it's just a good business model. I think dethroned Blair Witch Project for the lowest budget film with the highest gross or international gross, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but that's what I remember.
I actually enjoyed it more than Blair Witch.
Yeah, definitely. I like it more too. Yeah, the shaky cam for me for Blair Witch is too much. For me, I'm not a shaky cam fan at all. I saw that in the theater and I was like, I'm losing my mind. You know, I was like, you guys have got to get a dolly or something. I can't deal with it. It's just too much shaking for me.
I definitely like the first 3 Paranormal Activities, and I think the fourth one. No, that wasn't a fourth one. It was like a side story called The Marked Ones. That one wasn't bad, but the Ghost Dimension, that was terrible. And the one where the girl was running around with the laptop in the house, that was kind of bad. And there was another like side offshoot one that was called Paranormal Activity Tokyo Nights. That was pretty cool. And we have another person joining the live stream. Let me see. How can I? There we go. Add to stream. Okay,
I'm here.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hello.
No problem.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
That's your costume. I'm the captain now. Sorry.
Make it so.
Yes.
Give the con number 1.
Yeah. This is Fitz from Hobby View, and Fitz does quadcopter, RC helicopter, RC plane builds, 3D model prints, and he looks like he has brought the robot dog. I'm not sure what it's called because I don't pay as close attention to the Doctor Who, but I know it's from Doctor Who.
I'll take a look there. Oh, that's neat. That is neat.
K9.
Oh, you can't see that?
Yeah, Lord, there you go.
Wild.
That's
And
K9, yes.
He's an actual robot dog. He does roll around and move. I think he moves his head and his ears and stuff sometimes too.
Yeah, his ear just moved. He's so I wasn't expecting to bring him out today, so he's not quite in full operating condition. Things have broken. I don't play with him much, but one of the ears will move. If you can see it, I can get it to move or something. Again, he's not operating the way he should be. He'll move in a second. He just moved. Let me zoom in a little bit.
I'm trying to get a closer look myself. Yeah. Oh,
So-
that is super cool. Fitz, you
so
built
he's-
this, huh?
Yeah, I built this. I built this from scratch. This is all animatronic. There you go. See the ear wiggle?
Yeah. That is
Both-
awesome.
Both are supposed to wiggle, but one is broken for some reason. He's got, let's see, what did I do with the controller? Misplaced the controller. So he's got, oh, here it is. So he's got also a sensor probe that'll pop out. So if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
His eyes light up. His head will move up and down. As for the servo, he's got a gun that pops out just like in the TV show, a laser gun with a light on it. He rolls around. There's a control panel here with lights and buttons and little display screens. There is, I'll move the camera real quick.
Fitz, is this all hardware? Is this software? Is this a little bit of both? Or what do you got going on there?
It's both. I can actually show you if you really want to get the nitty gritty details. Let me zoom
I
out.
don't know
Sorry.
if we can handle them.
It's a project I've been working on for a long time. So here's the control panel. Hopefully,
you are using computers and software as well as a physical build.
yes, I am. So there's several computers inside. You can see the buttons. I don't know if you can see the lights on it. And there's a screen. I can't get it.
Just wild.
Sorry, I'm looking at the screen. Things are backwards. All right. My cable's not long enough. So I'm moving them closer. There you go. There's a little display screen here showing some information. And there's another one that's just got some patterns running around on it. So to answer your question real quick. Oh, one more screen. He's got on the back side that's running. Can you see it? You may not be able to see. Right now it's running a pattern of stuff.
Yeah. It kind of almost looks like a heart monitor.
Yeah, kind of like a heart monitor. There's a little computer inside and a screen. That's from the TV show. So if you really want to see the ugly details, and there's the face. There's the eyes. The eyes are supposed to, and it has in the show he had a little ticker tape mouth, and so there's actual printer inside, and so he can take a picture and spit out your picture in his little ticker tape. And I can rip it off. The kids love that when I go to shows.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But if you want to see, there's a rat's nest inside of all kinds of stuff. So
You built it around. You're referencing a certain throwback robot dog that I probably don't know the reference.
yes, from the old Doctor Who,
Okay.
old from the early '80s, late '70s.
Gotcha.
And so
The one with
you were asked, what's that?
The one with Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor, the guy with the scarf.
Exactly. In fact, he's got a little scarf right there, just like the old Tom Baker. So you're asking about computers. There's a bunch of computers all over the place. There's one back there. There's a Raspberry Pi down here.
Yep.
There are multiple computers around. There's what they call a Raspberry Pi, Arduinos. So there's multiple Arduinos in here running different things. So Arduinos that run there's actually touch sensors. Supposedly, if you're supposed to, well, see the tail is kind of broken. I had kids break it. So here's a servo that's supposed to wiggle the tail, but when I touch the body, it'll wiggle the tail. So just by touching, the body,
Oh, so
it wiggles.
wow.
It wiggles a servo, which is supposed to be connected to the tail. But right now that mechanism is broken because it got wiggled too many times. So I need to fix it. Again, I had no idea I was going to be bringing this out tonight, so it's all kind of beat up. I've taken it to a lot of shows, like Comic Palooza type shows and Makerspace type shows and things like that. So it's really popular with the kids. It has wheels. There's a couple of pair of wheels down there and motors. I can drive around with a remote control module, and I can move the head up and down, wiggle, and it talks. Right now it's not working, but I have a controller here, and I press different buttons, and it will say different samples from the TV show. Because in the TV show, the dog could talk. It'd say, "Master, yes," all kinds of stuff. And so I press a button, and it would talk. But right now, it was spitting out garbage. It literally sounded like it was possessed. So I don't know what's wrong. It's broken. I haven't touched it. I built this a few years ago, and it's been sitting for about a year unmolested. And so when she asked me if I can bring it out, I was like, well, I hope it even turns on, much less does anything. So
That's fine.
that's something I did in my spare time. What's that?
You did a good job matching the original prop. How did you figure the dimensions? Did you use reference photos, or are they available online?
Yes, I found a set of plans online for this. It was let me back out. Somebody in Australia had a bunch of plans for the body. And I said, well, that's a kind of a neat project. You know, nowadays there's all kinds of neat things you can get for electronic sensors and actuators and servos and that kind of stuff. And it really would make a neat project to computerize to do more than what it did in the show. And so once I found the plans for the body, it's made out of plastic that I cut up and painted and glued together. And I thought, well, this will be a fun project. And the more I thought about it, the more ideas I had to get it running and to kind of add it features. I still have ideas for other features. I've just been too busy with other stuff. But I had a really good time building it, and it's not finished. I really need to tweak it some more and make it a little more realistic to where it was in the show. But it's very functional and operational, and there's a weird wiggles again. So yeah, just it started with I found some plans online and went crazy from there.
It's amazing, Fitz. It's really amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's just such a cool design, and just the fact that it's functional in any way beyond just looking at the guy. That's just really great. Really cool piece. Really cool. When can I get one? I need a couple. I need like 2 or 3 around the house.
No, this one took me long enough. It actually has. She mentioned drones. This actually has 2 cameras in the nose, in the face. One was for taking picture, but another one was for remote piloting. So I have a transmitter inside the head and a TV screen, and so I could drive around remotely. And I used to do that in conventions. So I'd sit like in the corner and just driving around, and then nobody would be around it. People were like, "Who's driving this thing?" And I'd be way across the hall until Wonder Woman ripped his head off, and then I stopped doing that.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, she didn't do it on purpose. There was a lady dressed as Wonder Woman, and she her lasso got tied up in the ears. She didn't see the dog quite that well, so she was walking by, and her lasso was on her hip and got tied to ears, and it pulled this piece of the head can come off for maintenance, and so she pulled the whole piece off, and so the camera went like this, and I'm like, what the hell? Looking at the nothing, and I had no idea where it was, and so me and this other guy ran around the convention center looking for Canine because his head was on the floor, and so I said, well, okay, maybe I won't be doing that anymore. Or at least not inside a convention center. I can do it outside.
That's an amazing
cool
thing. Very cool.
We have a question from the chat. I don't know, Fitz, if you saw, a lot of people were saying how cool the dog is. I put the comments on the screen as you were showing the dog, but I'm going to read them out loud so that you hear what people say. Curly Girl at the movie said, that robot dog is so cool. Kubrick Lover 1972 said, that dog is so cool. The Trash Picture Show says, you own K9, that's fucking awesome. And false proxy session says, reminds me of the cyber dog from Wallace and Gromit. And,
the wrong trousers, Gromit.
yeah, and also says awesome. And then we have a question from CML Entertainment. It says,
Jeepers Creepers.
what are your thoughts on Jeepers Creepers Reborn teaser trailer? I watched it, but I don't really remember much of what it showed. It was only like maybe 15 or 20 seconds long. I don't really have any thoughts on it as far as how it looks yet because it didn't show enough. But I do have thoughts on the movie itself being rebirthed under a different director and distribution company. Because I don't know if you guys know, the original director from Jeepers Creepers is a super creep that like molests kids and stuff. So I'm glad that he no longer, yeah. So I'm glad that he even literally in Jeepers Creepers 3 included the line, "The heart wants what it wants," which is a literal quote from Woody Allen referencing marrying his adopted stepdaughter type of thing. Like that was, dude, you are not planning on trying to change. So like, bye to you. So I'm glad that the Jeepers Creeper has a different director, different company that owns the property, because I do like the character, but I, had I had complex thoughts about not supporting a movie because of, the director. So I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Hopefully he's not getting hopefully he's not getting like residual type monetary for the purchase of that,
Yeah.
You guys have any
you have a question for Fitz. Trash Picture Show says, would you ever try building a Dalek?
No. I've seen some, and they're cool, but they're really hard to transport.
Really large robot.
Yeah. If I had a big van or something, maybe, but no, that's way too much. What do you call it? Production effort, logistics. That's it. The logistics on that.
They had to have to be like sectional, take it into 3 pieces.
Yeah. You really have to break it down. And so I was like, no. I'm looking up a link for you. I thought I had it, but for something. There we go.
Do you guys usually go to conventions, like horror conventions or sci-fi conventions? I mean, before the panoramic.
Panoramic.
YouTube doesn't like you saying the actual term, so because it'll mark your video as if it's giving false like medical information. So they, instead of them actually hiring people to watch videos, they have, the algorithm has a little crawlers and it'll just pick up certain words and assume that you're giving out false medical information instead of just casually mentioning that. But you were going to say, Mark?
So I used to go when I was younger, a lot, and really enjoyed it. It was always really cool. And they kind of mixed, both the comics with the horror stuff, and everybody's dressed up in crazy costumes and everything. So also in Boston, they had a couple different like Asian expos that were more like manga focused. And they have a lot of their own kind of their horror subgenre there. We'll really get serious about dressing up for that stuff as well. So it was always fun. Always fun, but it's been a few years though. Yeah, it's been a few years since I've gone to anything.
Yeah, same. The first convention I ever went to was with my mother. We went to a Star Trek convention. I'm not sure whether it was for Star Trek in general or whether it was just Next Generation, but I remember it had a recreation of the ship's deck. But back then, this is way back in the 90s. Conventions used to be so dead and empty, and it was more fun because you can get around and talk to people. And now they're so packed. I almost don't want to. I'm interested in going, but at the same time, I'm at the age where I don't want to stand up for hours. Just like I gotta sit down. I'm old.
You're not that
old. Well, this is not a convention, but I did go to Halloween Horror Nights a few years ago, and again, lines, like standing in a 40-minute long line to go into the scare, although the production values for their scare houses are really top notch, like you're talking movie production level scare houses at Universal Studios, but wait in line is just too long. Mr. Dan Hart says might try to go to Monster Mania when it comes back to New Jersey in March.
Ooh.
Yeah, down here we mostly have Spooky Empire, but we also have MegaCon, which like that's all encompassing. That is everything you can think of. You might see Freddy Krueger walk by someone dressed as Super Mario Kart. Like it's everything all at once. And we have
is there
Star
Super
Wars
Mario
Days
Freddy?
then. Oh, no. You might see something like that. I love when people mix costumes together.
Yeah,
I think that's so creative
mashup.
because I always think to myself, how did you get that idea to mash these two costumes together? And I meant to also mention, Nye, do you have your? Oh, I do see him. At first, I couldn't see your headband on because earlier your video that you posted today, you had the bat wings one on.
Yeah, I had that one. Yeah,
How many?
Pumpkins on. I have like 10 headbands. I started collecting them just like a month ago. I kept seeing them at the store, and I just.
Oh, you froze up.
Uh-oh.
Is it just me or is everyone frozen? Okay.
No, she froze.
We're still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. She'll probably pop right back on. Another comment. Oh, Mr. Dan Hart says, I saw William Shatner at a Star Trek convention around the Star Trek 4 era. He was hilarious. That is good to know.
I've seen him at a couple different conventions. Yeah, he's a jokester, and he'll rag on you too if you ask a really goofy question. He has no qualms in picking on the crowd, but he's always very good natured and he's very entertaining. One of the more entertaining of the people I've seen of the original crew.
He was on camera on CNN after he came down from that space launch.
Oh yeah,
he could not stop talking. Oh my God, he acted like he was he was just in a movie. He was just going off, just pontificating about the blue skies and everything he saw. But he's a funny character, though. He's
it's like guy. He had a life revelation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he was talking about it, he was like, everything is so...
He's suddenly Zen or something. Yeah. I've gone to Valhalla and I've seen the light.
It's always funny when he sort of plays a caricature of himself. Like he hosted this great documentary on History Channel on how Star Trek changed the world, and he was hamming it up big time in that. Like, great stuff. Very funny guy.
I'm actually glad that we segued a little bit into science fiction because another thing that Ethel and I have in common is that I do sci-fi Saturdays and she does sci-fi Sundays.
Very cool.
Well,
Yeah,
We actually did a special. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, we actually did a special Sci-Fi Sunday today, the part of the Candy Corn Conga Line Channel Hop. And it was all about mad scientists. So we were talking about all the mad scientist movies, and it was great.
Like
weird science?
Mad scientist? No, I'm thinking more like Reanimator.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We talked about like Reanimator, Frankenstein, Reanimator. We talked about the Unearthly. We talked about Ape Man. We talked about weird science. We did touch on that. We talked about a lot of them. We even talked about Human Centipede because that's friggin' madder than bad.
I could not watch that movie.
I know of it. When I learned what it was about, I was like, nope.
I just couldn't get past the cover. I must have looked at it 10 times, and I was like, I know there's something here I should probably watch, but I'm just not gonna though.
Yeah, I feel you.
I had to pass.
We did talk about Cyclops too, and we also got into the likes of Zat. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Zat.
Oh, Zat. Oh, Zat. I thought you said Zapped at first. Zat, yeah.
No, Zat. You got a guy who wants to create a race of fish people.
Okay.
Why? Yeah, that's gonna end well.
Movie, but I've seen GIFs of that creature.
Have you guys seen Frankenstein's Army?
Yes, I reviewed that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't watch your review, Josh. I'm sorry.
You got it. That's okay. That's okay. It was a while ago. It was like maybe almost 2 years ago. Whenever it first came out, I reviewed Frankenstein's Army, and I reviewed it when it came out. There was a movie. Oh gosh, it was similar to Frankenstein's Army, but it starred Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son. Oh goodness! Somebody in the chat, let me know what movie it was. It was a similar premise where they parachuted down into Germany. And they ended up in the Nazi bunker.
The Nazis, yeah, I saw that too. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, was this a relatively
like
recent one? It's like a World War II movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe it came out in 2019ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never remember the name of it.
It's
Overlord.
a one-word name, I
Overlord.
think.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Overlord.
somebody had Overlord in the
Mr.
chat.
Yes,
That was good.
Mr. Dan Har. Yeah, Overlord.
That's a solid movie. I like that one a
It was
lot.
pretty good. It reminded me a lot of the video game Wolfenstein.
Yep.
Yes,
Castle
a
Wolfenstein.
lot of people said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
Frankenhooker. I wanted to do Frankenhooker as a costume this year, and I just could not. I did not have the time to try to make that purple bra thing.
Tell me that's from the 70s.
No, it's from the 80s. Or maybe it might be 90. It might be 1990. It's late 80s or early 90s. It's Frank Henenlotter. It's the same person that did Basket Case and Brain Damage.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very over the top. It's campy. I liked it, and it feels so New York, New Jersey. Like there's something about Henenlotter's products that you really feel like you're in New York or New Jersey. He's like that, and Lloyd Kaufman is like that. A lot of his movies have a very Long Island, New York feel to them.
Hey, I'm putting here.
Yes. Let me explain the plot of Frankenhooker. You're gonna love this one for people who haven't watched it. Okay, it is about a guy who's I might have to take these gloves off in a minute because it's about a guy who loses his girlfriend to a lawnmower accident, which decapitates her, and so he keeps her head because he decides he's going to try to rebuild her. But in order to rebuild her, he needed women's parts. And so he found out that there are crack holes. So then he makes he's a chemistry student, by the way. So he makes super crack so that he can attract the crack holes so that he can use their bodies to rebuild his fiance.
So I'm still at decapitated by a lawnmower. How do you get decapitated? Was it a flying lawnmower or something?
I can't explain it. But
How do you get your head anywhere near a lawnmower?
I do love the movie though. I just do.
It's sort of a similar plot to The Brain That Wouldn't Die, which kind of makes me wonder if Frank wasn't just a wee bit inspired by that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's homages to it because at one point her brain is just or he has a brain. I'm not sure if it's her brain, but he has a brain in a jar where it's just a brain and eyeballs.
Hey, I saw that in old Doctor Who like that. The brain of Morbius. The brain with a couple of eyeballs. Never mind. It was in a tank. You remind me though. I saw a tale in a Young Frankenstein yesterday. That was another great mad scientist comedy.
It was a fun movie. It's very laid back.
Yes, it was.
Very, very funny. Yeah. Kind of a feel-good movie for a Frankenstein movie, if you want to call it that.
I love the song and dance number when he's doing.
Oh yeah.
He's singing his part, and every time it's Frankenstein's part, he's just like ah.
They were like rah.
Ride Share and Delivery LLC says Death by Temptation with Kadeem Hardison. James Bond III, along with Cynthia Bond, is pretty good. That's if you like both vampires and trauma movies. I agree. It's very. I think people might have expected it to be more of a straight horror than it was, and it's more of a comedy horror. I think I paired it. I did review that. I paired it with Vampire in Brooklyn, I think. Or did I pair Vampire in Brooklyn with Vamp? Or did I pair this with Vamp? I can't remember. It was a few years ago.
Does Trauma still make movies?
Yes, they do.
Really?
And he's still completely independent. He's been all these years. He's been independent. I almost got a chance to meet him when he released Poultrygeist: Night of the Chicken Dead. I went to a screening. I'm so glad I got a spit take. Yes, that's
Night of the
movie.
Chicken. He's got to be smoking something good.
Well, yeah, he was supposed to introduce the screening, but his flight got delayed because of a snowstorm. So unfortunately, I didn't get to meet Lloyd Kaufman, but he did retweet me once, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, cool. I had a short story. I was in class once. An instructor said, "Oh yeah, I lived in New Jersey, and I lived right near where they filmed. I think it might have been Toxic Avenger." And I was like, "Oh really? That's cool." And everybody else in class is like, "What? Toxic Avenger? You don't know Toxic Avenger?" Like, no. Anyway,
speaking of that, I heard that they are making a remake of Toxic Avenger, and I don't know how I feel about that.
That could be fun. That could be fun. I mean,
it could be,
because I think there was a comic out about it. What I believe, and the comic was pretty tongue in cheek, kind of. Kind of knew that it wasn't a serious thing. It could be fun, but you know what? The problem is a lot of different styles of movies are lost on today's directors. Like you said, that mix of comedy and horror, kind of tongue-in-cheek type of stuff that we saw in like the late 80s, early 90s. That stuff just isn't around anymore. Or directors aren't doing it. So, do they understand the style of the Toxic Avenger in the sarcasm involved with that guy? Or are they gonna just play it straight? Not get the joke. So here's hoping if they do it, that they give him his personality.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Sorry about that. Internet issues.
Okay. I thought it was me for a second.
Let me see if I can switch.
My internet can be kind of wonky too, so I'm
out losing everything.
Seems to be going around these days with the internet.
Yeah, we've been hearing about data caps in the Northeast coming next year. And I don't know what that means, because basically everything is internet now. So even your TV. I'm really hoping they don't do anything to make it harder to do what we do. So the internet is everything. We got to have unlimited juice.
Yeah, it's you pay for it. You got to be able to use it to its utmost.
Yeah, it should not be a finite resource, and they're trying to turn it into just that. There's no good.
No, that's not good.
They want to push everybody to essentially a subscription model where you pay through the nose just for access. I think we just lost Sasha.
No, we did. We lost the hose. Hopefully, it doesn't take everybody down.
I think she's switching Wi-Fi routers. She'll be back.
Well, I got my captain's hat, so I guess I'm going to take over.
Are you in your workshop right now, Vince?
I am in my workshop, yes. You can see bits of models and stuff around me. You can see some helicopters on the wall right there, some airplanes. I'm actually working on another airplane. I don't know if you can't quite see it. There's a wing in balsa. I'm building something. Yeah. So this is my big workshop. And I also make videos here too and stuff. So it's
very cool.
Keeps me out of trouble.
You mentioned that you were looking for some music as well. Are you doing any type of multimedia stuff, or that you needed like clips, sound effects, and stuff for?
Well, yeah, I have my own YouTube channel, and so sometimes I need incidental music and stuff.
Sure,
and
I do a lot of royalty-free for the family. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah. I was listening to it. I was like, man, that's some nice stuff. I'd really like to use some of it. And I don't usually use a whole long length of stuff. People start complaining about music and videos, as you probably know. Well, you do music, so it's different. But if you're doing a non-music video, if you have too much music, ultimately somebody complains about just the fact that it exists. Doesn't matter, whatever. But I like to have incidental music in the end, or some bits and pieces.
Yeah, ambient music in the background without drums, quieter stuff, atmospheric stuff for like movies and scores, stuff that sits in the back. I was actually talking to Sasha about that too, about she's using a lot of my old songs, maybe from 8-10 years ago. And I was like, a lot of that stuff just has, I like the harmonies, but the drums are just, thumbs down.
Overpowering stuff. Yeah.
So if we pull that stuff off, give it more atmosphere, then we could slip that type of stuff in behind your monologues or whatever you're saying, and it doesn't interfere with the front of what you're doing, what you're presenting. So. Cool. And if your stuff is different than horror, I do horror music. I also do straight up trap music, rap music, lo-fi music. So we can do a different
Okay.
genre for you, different than what we're doing for Sasha.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to talk about that, and
Yeah.
we can see maybe a theme. So it's model stuff, but I wanted something kind of upbeat and maybe catchy and sort of unusual.
Robot arcadey will give you, 80s synthwave type stuff, or something different.
Yeah, I like the sort of mix and match. I've had stuff that sounded like old, Atari computers, and I had stuff that sounded like dramatic music, depending what I'm doing.
Cool.
Just neat stuff. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm here to help, and also just me stretching my musical boundaries outside of what I always do really helps,
Yeah.
And
Challenge yourself.
Yeah, just engaging with all you guys. This is brand new for me in terms of getting out and connecting like this, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's great, and can't wait to do more stuff and get involved.
Are you able to show us a little bit of your studio, or is it, I don't know whether
I can definitely walk around. Let me see if I can. The question is, can I actually detach this thing here?
Look at all the Funko Pops.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, we do
The
have a
Funko
lot
King.
of punk. Now, how do I get to the point where? Let me see here. Camera. I have to remember how we did this. Camera, mic, camera, and I go down here and I turn this around to the back.
There you go.
Funko King.
Okay,
Yeah, you can show us the Funkos too if you want.
Oh yeah. So here we go. Over here, we've got quite a selection here. Most of these are my wives, and see that one right there is actually.
Is that Slimer?
Yeah,
Slimer's there. We've got Freddy and Velma. And we're about 3-4 rows deep here, and we got more in the back. So yeah,
Superheroes.
We've been going crazy.
Some of them. Is that the Joker?
Oh, look at Jordy.
Oh, Jordy. Yeah, Jordy.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, we have quite the.
Is that Yoda?
Yeah, Yoda's there. Yeah, and see who else we got in the back. We have them stacked up like crazy here.
Ray and what's his name? The Hello Kitty.
The Riddler there.
Hello Kitty looks normal.
Yeah, Hello Kitty. Yeah, that's how Hello Kitty looks. Her head is that size.
We got some other randoms down here. Zoolander, some It. Down here is where I have those Us ones that we were talking about. Those are the Us family there. Those guys. And so so that's that stuff. Here's the skull there. And if I go this way and take a dip into the studio here.
Sure. I have a Funko Pop of the Canine too. I found one. I had to get it.
Oh, very cool.
So here's a couple. These are like paint, ink wash paintings that I did. Kind of
you did those?
Asian inspired kung fu pieces there.
Wow, impressive.
Guy. So I did these back in like 2005 or so. This is quite a while back there.
It's kind of a samurai vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely got the samurai vibe there. Here we got one here in the tech closet. We got those there. And then over here I have my my studio area. I'm going to be actually doing acoustic foam up in about a month, so I'll be able to set up my whole mic booth. I've got all my graphic novels, all that stuff over there, classic. We got synthesizer here, and we got our speakers, monitors. I got my computer underneath the desk. I have my mixing board over there. This is my art desk here, where I've got to do all my artwork here. This is my full desk, which, as you can see, is in wild disarray. That's how I typically run it. I've got a whole bunch of wiring here. Here's my drum machine over here. So I do almost all my drum work on the drum machine, and then kind of arrange everything in the computer. I got a couple more pops here. These are kind of my favorite pops. So these are the ones that I took out of the box. Yes, I did it. I've got Archangel here. I've got the Star Wars ones here. This is probably my favorite character. This is Black Bolt, who is a super powerful Inhuman from Marvel. So he's pretty much my favorite one there. So yeah, so that's basically the setup. I'll have a mic booth set up soon, and I've got stuff like moon rocks and octopi and other craziness over here in this area. So it's still under construction. But that's pretty much the the studio at a glance, and hopefully, what we're looking to do is to come out with an album probably in about 2 months, based off of the Halloween stuff that I released the last couple of days. Kind of finish that up. It'll be like a 7-8 song EP, and then start getting some vocals going in the new year.
Very, very cool.
So let me turn this back around. Go front. I think that's the right camera. Yeah, here we go. Okay, and we're back. I think so. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to. I think Nai's having a problem with her internet right now too. I was trying to add her on the stream, but it's not picking up.
Yeah, she said something in the private chat.
Yeah, it says her internet went out too. Because mine went out for a hot second.
This might take a second for me to get my
Halloween
set
blackout
back here, guys.
Yeah, I was talking earlier today. We were talking about how America, our internet is really subpar compared to some other places. I was like, in Korea, they're on 7G, and I can barely get 5G to work here.
Yeah, we'd be lucky. Yeah.
Well, Korea has always been ahead of like the world for some reason.
Which is really, really interesting considering their history and how they had to kind of restart over in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
like,
what the funny thing is that the history start over has actually been to their advantage. Like we're stuck with legacy tech, like
Yeah.
wireless wires and street wires and stuff like that. Where like Africa has like nothing but cell phone tech because they started there, and it's almost like they have a leg up on, because they don't have the weight of all the old technology, having to carry that, and also migrate from it. They're like, I got this is the first piece of tech I got, and it's like a cell phone, from last year. It's a good start,
Yeah, that reminds me of a story a Japanese guy told me. He mentioned, I told him I knew somebody lived near Hiroshima, which got bombed in World War II, right? The nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, Hiroshima is one of the nicer Japanese cities because it got leveled. When they rebuilt it, it's got nice wide streets and new buildings and stuff. It's one of the easier streets to drive around, the cities to drive around in and visit and stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes you start over in the 20th century.
Oh yeah.
It's an advantage.
Drissa was showing me, my sister Drissa was showing me a video from, I want to say it was in the early 1940s, that someone had recorded in New York, and someone went back and digitally remastered it and colorized it. And the first thing I noticed was how level the streets were. No potholes, nothing. And how some of the buildings, like the cathedral, I think might be called the St. James Cathedral, was still there in 1940s. And it's like there's so many things that they wouldn't be able to update because they would have to move all those buildings that are almost 100 years old. And the Brooklyn Bridge, I was like, oh my God, the Brooklyn Bridge, we have bridges that are 100 years old. Like that's neither here nor there.
Meanwhile,
we weren't supposed to be talking about real life horror. We're supposed to be talking about horror movies.
Well, when you say that, though, the Europeans laugh at you. Go, ha ha, 100 years, how quaint.
Yeah, that's true. They have like 1,000-year-old buildings and stuff.
What would you say would be your favorite horrors, guys? Like just, and not like critic based, but just like based on why, like what it means to you, like what you love. Yeah, I can go first if you want to. Up you, we'll go around. Or is there something that inspires you that you like?
For me, the first thing that comes to mind is gory movies. I love gory movies because when I was in middle school, I was really into like reading Fangoria magazine and Gore Zone. And my original dream job was to be a special effects technician. I wanted to do those practical effects. I wanted to turn people into zombies and make it look and do the effects of like the chest bursting open and that type of thing. I always loved the mechanics of taking something and making it look real. So I love those movies the most. Even if it's a bad movie, if it has really good gore, it usually will still interest me.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, for me, it was definitely movies that are like tension. Like I'm a big tension fan. So stuff like say like The Black Coat's Daughter. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. Where like you are just uneasy the whole time and you don't know what's going on. Like I'm a big fan of like the unknown, or like somebody who's kind of, the bad guy's kind of you really don't understand them. You don't understand their powers. You don't understand what they could do, and that just breeds like the fear. So like Black Coat's Daughter was one of my favorite. I also like It Follows, only actually for the opposite reason, in that there was very specific rules in that movie, but they were unique, you know. And just like kind of a fatalism in terms of all the characters feeling like they can't win against this horror, and the horror is real and is better than them or stronger than them. So movies like that I definitely enjoy. But the tension is what I get hooked on. It's definitely that feeling of what's going to happen, and that fear of what the unknown is what I like.
Huh. Thanks.
What do you think, Ethel?
I'm really big on well, of course, anybody who watch my channel, like, I'm really big on the old 70s grindhousey B movies, low budget stuff. I also really like Hammer movies. Like, it's just, I don't know, I'm stuck in that era. It's got a certain look and appeal. It's like you don't find that anymore. It's just,
and the type of actors like Christopher Lee and Vincent Price, and they like really lend like a gravitas to whatever they're portraying.
Vincent
Also,
Price.
the costume design is really, really good in those. Like when you look at the wigs, the clothes, they really put a lot of effort into the costume design.
Yeah, they have, like, Hammer does great costume design. They have great sets. Like, the sets are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of these are on sound stages, but a lot of them are on location. Like, they find actual, like, old looking, like, castle looking buildings, and they shoot there. They film there. You know, it's great. Like, you just, it gives it a whole feel and atmosphere, and it lends itself to the acting. And even if you get one, because hey, not all of Hammer's stuff is gold. Even if you get one of the more dubious entries into their catalog, it's still it gets shined on, because the production values are just wonderful half the time, even though it's got a low budget.
I don't know much about these. If you were to recommend something for me, what would you think would be like a good starting point?
Well, the Christopher Lee Dracula ones are really good. Like, I would recommend Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, Horrors of Dracula.
Okay.
There's one, like, it's kind of more B movie. There's no Christopher Lee, but The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. That's pretty cool, because you combine Dracula with Kung Fu. It's like a Kung Fu movie, but you get Dracula.
Sounds great. I love that. I've watched a million Kung Fu movies too. I've watched all those. That's cool.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'd also recommend The Gorgon. That's pretty good. It's kind of a Medusa take from Hammer. It's pretty good. I
was going to add with the martial arts. I love how some of the more recent martial arts movies are kind of getting into the horror territory. Like, I don't know if you've seen this movie called The Night Comes for Us. I want to say it's from Indonesia, but it might be Thailand. And it's a martial arts flick, but at the same time, it's very gory. Like, arms are getting chopped off. People are getting, like, it's very, so it almost has a horror feel. Another really good one is a South Korean, it's a sci-fi action horror thriller. Yes, Train to Busan was awesome. Called The Witch Part 1 Subversion. And I always talk about this movie so much because it changes gears. It starts off like firmly horror, like you get this horror scene, and then it does a few years jump, and then it seems like it's a teen comedy for like a good 20 minutes, and then it shifts into action. Well, this is one of the things I do love about Korean cinema. They're like, why does a movie have to be one thing? Why not? Why can't it be 3 different genres at the same time? And it's really good. If you get the chance to watch it, I think you'll really enjoy it. Especially if you like science fiction, if you like action, and you like horror. The Witch Part 1 Subversion. And they just finished filming The Witch Part 2. It doesn't have a release date just yet. Board now says, happy Halloween, guys. Just been watching Twilight Zone, Eye of the Beholder, which is one of my favorite episodes. Now going to check out Slither, which is also a good movie. Do you guys remember?
Was fun. Yeah.
Yes. Do you guys remember the Eye of the Beholder?
No. Can you summarize it?
It's the episode where you see this woman, she's in a hospital, and her whole head is wrapped up, and she's trying to get surgery to make herself look normal. And she keeps saying how she feels like a freak, and she wants to look like everyone else. And you hear the doctors and the nurses talking, but you don't see them. And to the very end, and she ends up looking what we call normal, and all the doctors and nurses and everyone else, they have the odd faces. So it's called the eye of the beholder, because it's all about perception.
Yeah.
It's a great one. That's
Slither was a pretty wacky, wild movie too, and
Yes.
it just gets wilder and wilder to the end. I mean, they were having a lot of fun with that movie. That was a fun movie, and it wasn't that scary. The special effects were wild. I thought the practical stuff was great. I just didn't imagine it was going to get that bonkers when it started. And I was like, it was fun. Yeah.
I think it had the same director as the Guardians of the Galaxy, Tim Gunn, I think is his name, and he actually studied under Lloyd Kaufman in Trauma.
Yeah.
James Gunn, yes, James Gunn, not Tim Gunn. James Gunn, yeah, and he studied under Lloyd Kaufman for Trauma. And if you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy, in one of the prison scenes, you can see Lloyd Kaufman up in the rafters as one of the prisoners. Also, he was also in the Suicide Squad for a split second when they go into that bar and you see an elderly gentleman dancing. It's Lloyd Kaufman.
Really?
Yeah. Mr. Dan and Har also recommends The Mummy with Christopher Lee.
Is that the original?
No, the original Mummy is probably from the 30s. So the Christopher Lee one would probably be somewhere in the 60s or maybe 70s.
Okay.
Marion Hope says Room 40. Marion Hope says Room 1408 is a good movie for that kind of feeling of dread.
Yeah. Yeah, 1408 was pretty good. I think it has Samuel Jackson in it, John Cusack in it.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I think it was good. It's kind of got that again, that claustrophobic feeling you can't escape. And again, that existential dread of not knowing what's going on. There's some type of malevolent force. It's not on your team, and you're not going to get out of this one alive. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes, Curly Girl and I are on the same wavelength waiting for that part 2. She also says, OMG, Eye of the Beholder was so good. I'm going to read the last few comments, and then I'm going to have to pop it over to the next channel in our conga line. Marion Hope says, Lady Shasha has a gorehound. Cool, but I wouldn't have guessed it before. Really? And Mr. Dan Har says 1959. That's probably for The Mummy with Christopher Lee. So I just missed it. I said 60s and 70s, but it was actually 1959. I didn't realize it was that early.
I was thinking it was 50.
Yeah. Oh, B Movie Bandit says she's here in the chat. Yes. I'm glad that you are there in the chat, because I can try to segue into the next segment of our Candy Corn Conga line. So first, I want to thank everyone for coming to this segment, especially Miss Ethel Cross, because, like I said, she's been working super, super hard, and I know she's got to be tired from putting all this together. You did an awesome job. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I like your Bride of Chucky costume. Very, very cool. Because you know I love Bride of Chucky.
Chucky's a Chuckette.
Yes. Thank you, Naya from B Movie Badness. Check out her channel. She has been doing some great stuff, and she also has the cutest laugh. She's a very, very sweet person. And let me move this so you can see that Fitz. You can find Fitz on Hobby View, and again, he does the different types of. I should have. Well, no, I'll continue. I was gonna have you plug yourself, but I already started this way, so I'll just keep going. Yeah, so Fitz is signing on from Hobby View. If you're into remote control technology, quadcopters, 3D builds, and also troubleshooting. He also does some live streams of troubleshooting problems and building from scratch. So it's a lot to learn there, and it's really like watching a PBS. Yeah, it is. It's like I feel like your show would come on right after Reading Rainbow. the narration, the editing.
I've been called Bob Ross several times.
Oh, good. So it's not just me. And Mark as well. Thank you for coming on the live stream from Laser Cloud Records. Check out his channel. I shared on my community tab his last set. It's like did you call it a mini LP
or a mini EP? Just a 3-song Halloween little get down, just some spooky music. And we'll have a bunch more coming, both on your channel, on Fitz's channel, and our own channel. Just all in the horror vibe, but also some lighter stuff too.
Very, very cool. And I will share everyone's videos, previous videos on my community tab, so you'll be able to find their channels very easily. And now the next person coming up that in the next hour is Collector Man, and he's going to do trivia with / best films. And he's going to be on from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And is it easiest for me to put his link in the chat, or how should I do that, Ethel?
Well, usually you put it in the description, but you can pop it in the chat too. Either way works fine, as long as people know to go there.
Okay, I'll do both. Actually, let me do that right now. And he's probably get all set up and everything. I don't know how Giallo killers work so well with these gloves on, because I cannot.
So it must be practice.
Yeah.
Press the button. No, the other button.
They're definitely not working with touch screens with those.
No. There he is. Did Oh, I don't think he copied the whole thing.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, I posted the link into the chat. So if you want to continue, you guys can navigate onto Collector Man's page easily. I will also put it in the description as well, and I will put the links to everyone's channels in the description box as well. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. I had a good time, especially to the chat. You guys came through. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you and Ethel, you guys getting this together for us, and happy to be on. Thanks so much.
No problem. Okay, I'm going to end the podcast.
Great being here.